some therapy last year, as I've battled depression for a large part of my life, and then, you know, I was quite certain that the bombings did not help. I still remember walking around Boston that day. I told someone yesterday, thinking, okay, this can't possibly be good for my depression. And the therapist, he told me right pretty quick after, I think, one group meeting and one one-on-one meeting, he said, well, you definitely have some PTSD from that. He could tell just from my pauses when I started talking about that. And he said, you know, 1,000 people can be at the same event, and yeah, and it affects them differently. But he could tell, especially when I started talking about the people involved, there would be when we were talking in our group, there would be a pause. I start getting kind of emotional and everything. He said, you know, you just empathize with those people. He said, you have that connection, you have that emotional connection. And the connection was not just the marathon, but Boston is definitely my second home now. I almost always stay up in the Back Bay area or Fenway area. This year I'm up close to Fenway. And that's something right away. That was my neighborhood. That's my place. And so there's that very strong connection to that. I think it's important for everyone to have things that they can grab onto, something that can help them keep going, whether it's people or an event like the Boston Marathon. I can't tell you. I can try to tell you how much the Boston Marathon has meant to my life. I can't imagine life without it. It's something I dreamed about it for 20-something years. I finally ran my first one in 2001. I'd been dreaming about that since high school. Finally got to do it, and finally had a stronger connection to Bill Rogers because his store was right there in Faneuil Hall. And then it just grew from there. I can't imagine life without it. That's the thing that blows me away, because I never imagined how now life kind of revolves around the Boston Marathon. Everything is oriented. There was a few years ago, there was a coworker who, it was a few weeks before I went up to Boston again. He looks at me. He was kind of looking at me funny that day because he knew I was working like double shifts and stuff to get extra money for Boston and to make it up there and everything. And he looks at me. He goes, well, he was just giving me such an odd look. I said, what? What are you doing? And he said, you only work because of the Boston Marathon, isn't it? He said, you work just enough so you can make it, to Boston every year. And I was like, well, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. But like I said, I think that's, we all need that. That's something that motivates us. That's something that keeps us going. And that's something that's, deep down inside of you. It can be so many different things. And now it just, each year is so different, it amazes me. Now I have this year. This is very special to me. Yes, ma'am.